Hey everyone, I'm Mike Barlow, and this is the Fun Podcast. And I'm going to start this off by yelling at Jeffrey. So, Jeff,
Wait.
friend, yep, why have you been ignoring me?
Well, let me tell you something. That's all I got.
So, okay, well, yesterday I put something in the chat, and you obviously saw it because you referenced it when I yelled at you earlier. And I
um,
your timestamp on Discord, and you've been playing that Tarkov or whatever game for. Like,
that's a goated game. Escape from Tarkov. What did you say?
Free advertising.
I said that game.
What did you say yesterday? Oh, I'm.
Said anyone want to do the podcast? Feel free to say hi.
Okay, I would like to point out that neither me nor Matthew, responded to you. So technically, the blame
Yeah,
does
but
not
like
lie solely upon me.
Matthew didn't. Matthew said he didn't see the message and that he was actually
Yeah, I
waiting.
didn't get it. I didn't get it like a notification. I was on at 6:11, and I didn't get a notification.
And he said he was waiting for someone else to like trigger. So he was waiting. He was expecting this podcast to happen. You just blatantly ignored it because you were busy and your other Discord calls with your cool people.
Yeah, they're really cool people. Yeah, that's how I would categorize them as cool
Do
people.
you know what I did yesterday,
What did you
Jeffrey?
do?
I did nothing. I was
You
lonely.
didn't even shovel
All
the
right, all right.
snow.
Here's what I did.
Oh,
Are you
well,
ready?
here's what I did yesterday. Actually,
I want to
well,
have. I want to hear a play-by-play.
I was ordered to go out and shovel the driveway, and I didn't really want to do it. So, fun tip for everyone who's watching: what you do is you go out and you dress like a very old elderly man, and that's what I did. And I put on a little fedora hat,
Uh-huh.
my big coat from that Calvin Klein coat, and sunglasses and boots.
Wait,
And I
like
went
the
out.
trench coat,
Old.
the pea
I
coat.
I have wrinkles naturally on my face because I'm of British heritage. So I looked old, and an Amish man with a tractor came and dug me out. Look at that.
Wow,
What?
what ingenuity!
Old for sympathy, and I got it from the Amish.
Oh,
And
yes, of course. This is a real story.
it is actually a real story. I'm not.
Yes, you showed me pictures earlier during physics.
Really? That's
Yep.
actually a
Yeah.
real story that actually
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
No, it's not. This
it
can't be
is.
real. No.
I will send you the picture of me dressing old.
And maybe if we can, we'll put it in at
Okay.
this timestamp.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything to share
All right.
about
Well,
anything recent.
yesterday I'll give you a play-by-play of what I did. So basically, I got up, right? As you do, and I I I woke up and I opened my window and I was like, "That's a lot of snow, Chief." All right. So then, I did my walking around like an old man, forgetting where I was. But then eventually, I came to, yes, I realized where I was in my house, of course. And then I went outside and shoveled snow for about an hour and a half. But then I came inside and I sat down and I did a little bit of calculus homework and then I played Tarkov until I had to go to bed. That's it.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Okay. Well, listen. This is. I didn't actually shovel my driveway while I was out there. I shoveled my road because I was more scared of me shoveling the driveway and the plow coming in making me have to redo it. So I actually shoveled the road in front of my
Shovel
house,
the road.
Oh
and then
my
I was
word.
moving into my driveway, and then the Amish came. So, yeah, I
Wow.
was
Yep.
hunched over. I looked so elderly. You'd never believe it.
This is a real thing you did. You
Yes,
you
it
put on
was.
your pea coat, your fedora, and you went out to get sympathy from the Amish.
Yes.
Yep.
I,
Well,
other
my
that,
Thursday wasn't as eventful as your two.
Okay.
I woke up late and I looked at the window and most of everything's cleared off. So I get dressed and go out and my dad's like, "Yeah, you can go do the roofs." So I used the roof rake and
All right.
cleared off our roofs and then came back inside and that's that.
I feel like I got like 20 inches of snow. It was halfway up my brother,
Wait,
and he's.
only?
I don't know how much. Well, did I say only? I meant like it was a lot. It was a lot.
I
Like
measured.
way up my brother, who's like 4'8", 4'10". So like it was definitely at least 20 inches at my house.
At the time I was finished shoveling, it was about 9:30, I think, and it was still snowing at that time. So I took my measuring
Oh,
tape and I went out, and I think I recorded 29 inches
That's a
that's
lot.
yeah. I don't. I
on
mean,
on my deck.
that's insane.
It is.
Yes, Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of snow. Um,
Yeah, I had to shovel it off so in case the deck was gonna, collapse. But that's okay.
uh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I don't know. I like looking at the snow from inside. And, I didn't even mind shoveling it yesterday because it wasn't, well, I shoveled it after it stopped snowing and it was sunny and it was actually like kind of warm because it wasn't windy. So it wasn't really terrible, but I just wanted to see if my experiment worked and it did. So.
You actually did that.
Yes, he actually did it. I've seen pictures.
What's wrong with you?
What do you mean what's wrong with me? I'm a well-abled bodied young teenaged
Yes,
boy who
you're
didn't
a
want
young, able-bodied teenage boy who, instead of shoveling the driveway
live
like a
there.
regular
Live
person, decided to
in
go plead sympathy with the Amish.
my Amish neighbors are hardly even Amish. They have this huge orange tractor.
Oh my
I had a
word.
little snow shovel. My dad's tractor is from 1970, and he doesn't even know how to. I mean, he knows how to drive it, but it's broken all the time, and I don't know how to drive it. I was there with a little snowplow shovel. Well, they had this huge tractor, and they're Amish. They're not supposed to have that. So literally, I mean, maybe they're allowed, but like, come on. And so so I was like, why did they get to have this huge tractor? I have this long driveway and a little snowplow shovel. And I was like, okay.
All right. I I did not have any mechanized equipment either. I had me and my good old trusty wooden handled plastic bucketed. What is it called? Spaded? I don't know. Anyways, I didn't have anything. I had good old technology from.
Yeah, I just had a roof rake.
And, and I was also for my neighbors, but they know me too well. My neighbors, because I've dressed up like that and I went out and they have this snow plow, not snow plow, but like the snow. What are they called? It shoots out the
A
top. I forget. But
snowblower.
Snow blower.
yes, they have one of those, and I was like, I have a plow shovel. Amish neighbors, come on. New York City neighbors too. I have neighbors from New York City, and they have this big tractor.
They're up
And
here.
huh?
They're up
Oh,
here.
all my well, my road is half New York Cityites, so like, um, yeah, half of the road are just people who live in New York City but have summer homes up here, but they are all up here, obviously,
Why?
right? Because
Why?
it's coronavirus and they can't even eat inside of a restaurant down there, so
Oh
they're
yeah.
gonna
Well, let's not
they're up
get
Yeah.
here.
into that for now.
Yeah, no.
Well, no, I'm just saying
Bill
that
de
like they're
Blasio.
up here because
Yep.
it's the first time that anyone would choose to live where we live, but
Yep.
yeah.
Away from the metropolitan area. All right,
Hmm.
but like, what do they do? Do they
The
work? No, the the people who the New York Cityites who have
I
migrated.
don't. They're okay. So I think so. There's one that live in a blue house, and I think they're older, so they might be retired. There's a retired bus driver and retired cop from New Jersey who live across the
Uh,
street from me. There's a family that lives in the Cape Cod house, but they must do something like businessy because they must work online because they haven't gone back down, and they are only up here for a month in August or like a week in August.
Hmm.
And then there's a couple down the road, but I don't know much about them. And they're big houses too. They're nice houses. So,
Well, and then you got the Vosbergs, but they
well, the
don't count.
Vikings live there permanently, so
Yeah.
and they give back to their community. They have the whole ASO soccer thing.
Yeah.
So
well,
um,
obviously, like that makes sense because the cost of living in New York City is so much higher. Like for
Yeah.
an apartment down there, you could probably buy like a 2,000 square foot house up here. So
yes, I think I'd rather after this ends, though, I think I'd rather live in New York City than where we live. I just feel like everything's so dead in upstate New York. I don't know.
are you of the mindset that like if small towns are dying, people should just pick up and move to cities?
Yes,
Instead of trying to
I'm
revive.
not.
Gentrify.
Listen, I'm not a
Yeah.
small town person. I am someone who has no sense of community. So, um,
Okay.
but all right. Well, Jeffrey, where do you plan on residing after your college years?
Well, it all depends on many factors. Well, first, obviously, is if I go through with my RTC thing, uh, that'll mean 4 years deployed somewhere, which is obviously not my choice.
Okay, well, I mean after military, like you're done with the military,
All
you're done
right.
with college.
After
What?
all of my obligations, I'm on my own. Obviously, if I go through with computer science, it'll have to be in some sort of semi-major city. Aren't a lot of software engineering jobs like in upstate New York in like a town like ours.
Yes,
Uh, yeah, obviously. So
you
I'm
could work.
thinking big city somewhere. unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I love the big
I
city.
prefer a rural environment.
I don't. Okay, so I've been to Nashville, New York City. Those are my two favorites, and I'm planning to go to college in Nashville, but New York City's still my favorite, and I love the big feel, and I love all the asphalt, and I don't know, I just like the whole thing. Nashville's a little more spread out, so
So
I just like how everyone walks everywhere. I don't know. I like the city a lot.
I like it better up here, You can like open up your back door and you see like I don't know, a relatively large amount of nature as opposed to like let's say Westchester County, all right? Because that's something I'm familiar with. You open up the
Oh,
back door and you see the backside of another house. It's
well,
not the
I don't.
same.
Well, here's my problem with the suburbs. So the city, all right, you're here in the rural area, you get to drive, you have to drive everywhere, but you have the space, right? And the city, you don't have the space, but you don't have to drive it. You just walk out, you go to the markets, you come back, you can walk, ride bikes, everywhere. The suburbs are like stupid because I mean, I'm sure no offense to people who live in the suburbs, I don't care, but here's the thing. Like I you have to drive everywhere, but you don't have any space. So like it's not a happy medium. It's just the inconvenience of both factors, right?
Yes. I saw this thing about how like after World War II ended, and everyone started coming back. Like in the time between the Korean War and World War II, they built suburbs like really crappily on purpose for some reason. I can't remember what it was, but they built them like in the most inconvenient way possible to
Well,
like
yeah,
trap people there.
I mean, I have family who lives in the suburbs, and they have to drive to Target and stuff. They can't walk anywhere. They have to drive to school, but their houses are all on top of one another. So
uh,
I
I,
like
if I was able to work and live in a rural environment, I would do that hands down.
Yes, I don't mind rural environments more so than I mind upstate New York's ghost town-esque look. Like, there's an
Oy
abandoned
vey.
factory. Like, you're like, turn at the exit with the abandoned factory, and every exit you turn down. It's just sad. It's too depressing to look at. I can't do it. I
Ay
have
ay. Well,
Matthew, where do you have a
Uh,
choice where you'd like to live?
Um, I'm just kind of going where the job takes me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, probably I'm hoping somewhere in this area, capital region, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too picky where.
I really don't want to go to California,
Oh my God, I wouldn't want to go to
but if
California.
I become good, I guess, good enough, I have honors from my school and I have knowledge about computer science, I'll probably have to end up locating to Silicon Valley, somewhere around
Well,
there.
Austin,
Yeah.
Texas, the new Silicon Valley.
I
So,
heard it's growing massively. Like,
so is everyone from New York's going to Nashville in Florida, and everyone from California is going to Texas. So,
yep,
you know,
democratic
new.
cities are dying, slowly but
It's.
surely.
I find it so sad because I love New York City, and I really root for New York City. I don't want them to go down the deep end. I love New York City more than any other city in the world. But anyway, so Jeffrey, did you find a topic off of your quickly rushed internet?
Well, according to uh the best conversation starters for teenagers by a wonderful man by the name of Mark Merrill, whose website I found roughly 2 seconds ago. He
Nice.
has said that, quote, one of the most exciting parts of my job is being able to meet fathers all over the country. Yet, time and time again, they often say to me, do you have any tips that will help me to better communicate with my teen? When I ask them questions, all I get is a grunt, nothing, or I don't know. When it comes to building conversation with teenagers, many dads don't know where to start. Okay, sorry. So, to help get you started, I've created this list of conversation starters for you. All right. So far, it looks like there's 15 on here. So, what do you say? Just go down one, 1 to 15.
Sure, we'll do the conversation starters.
All right, brilliant. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you travel to? Let's start
I
with
would go.
Michael. Yes, go.
Yeah, I'll go. Of course, we'll start with me. I just butt in. Anyway, I would go. I don't know. I'm learning Mandarin Chinese, so maybe at the moment Taiwan, just so I could practice. But besides the language barrier, I think I would really want to go to the Arabian Peninsula, like to probably Dubai. I don't know. Dubai looks like Tomorrowland. It's crazy. So probably Dubai.
Interesting. What about you, Mr. Matthew?
Um, I don't really know. Probably somewhere in Europe, just to you know.
You have like a city in mind, a nation.
I mean, somewhere like Paris would be nice. You know,
Paris.
Eiffel Tower,
I heard
Arc de
that the
Triomphe.
French crap on foreigners really
Yeah,
badly. That's okay.
yeah. I mean,
of
you know, used
Jeff,
to it. You know.
course. What did you say, Michael?
how about you, Jeffrey?
Hmm. Well, uh, I pretty much I'm not exactly sure. Well, I would say Rome because there's a lot of history there. You can
Hmm.
go to see the Colosseum.
Oh yeah,
Vatican
I'd like to.
City.
Yeah.
Uh, the only unfortunate part is that apparently in Rome there's a lot of like crime, swindlers, that kind of stuff.
Just go to the Vatican.
That's right. The
All right,
Pope will
what's the next?
protect me.
What? Yes, what's next?
Or yeah, okay. Rome. Poggers. All right. Who is your best friend?
Oh, definitely Matthew.
All right.
Okay.
What about
Yeah.
you, Matthew?
Uh, you know, I I I don't really know. I don't think I value one more than the other.
That's
You're a
right.
jerk, Matthew. Never mind.
Okay.
I think my best friend is obviously. I was gonna make a stupid joke, but I won't even say because people might
Just
take
say
it
it. Just say
seriously.
it.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
changed my mind. My best friend is
Please.
my dog. All right, next.
Next.
Number 3. What would your perfect day consist of? Oh, this
Um,
is all
I
right.
don't know. I probably socializing because the days where like I was sitting home after school and I like took a nap and then I got up and I was like, should I run? And I
Okay, I
debated
think
it.
it means like a play-by-play. Like start with waking up and end with going to bed.
I wake up, I go to school, I go to
That's your perfect days going to school.
yes, I go to I value school more now. I go to cross country practice. I come home with not a lot of homework. I can relax and then maybe I hang out with a friend later, like on a Friday. So there, that's my perfect day.
Really?
Unless it's like an extraordinary day and I'm signed to like a record deal or something. That would be
That's an ordinary day. Yeah.
but an ordinary nice day would be that. Oh, also yeah, so that's it.
All right. I like how half of your waking hours consist of you going to school.
I enjoy school. I've never disliked school.
Oh yeah, so do I. But I'm just saying like that's not a general thing. All right, what do you think, Matthew? What is your perfect day?
Um, I let me think about it. So obviously, wake up, not too early, but not too late. You know,
Uh-huh.
8,
8.
8:30.
All right.
Yeah. Um, and then like a lazy Sunday. That would probably be a good day.
Oh,
Where
I
you're just
hate
watching movies
Sundays.
all day. Oh, dude.
Sundays make me depressed because always in the back of my mind I'm like,
Monday's next, right next to
yep,
tomorrow. Yep.
exactly.
I
Well,
love
I meant like that type of esque
Wait, you
day.
like school? Okay, hold on. Before you elaborate, you like
Okay.
school? Like
I
as in if you could do something, you would go do that instead of anything else.
I would much rather go to school than what I'm doing right now,
What are
which
you
is
doing right now?
staying. First of all, if we're gonna have schoolwork, I cannot focus at home. I stay up until 1 in the morning doing schoolwork, and I absolutely hate it. Second of all, I miss the social Like, I don't think I realized how much socialization affects me. Like back in March and April, I was like dying. I didn't know what to do with
Okay.
myself.
All right.
Literally,
We
like
live in a first world country right now.
here's the thing, Jeff. Here's the thing. Like I don't know if you realize, but like here's an example of me socializing in the way that makes me happy. So it's the end of gym class last year, and we go from gym to AP biology. I
Yeah.
start some conversation with you on the way up,
Oh
and
my
a
word.
climax is when we walk through the door so that I yell something stupid at you and get a reaction out of Mrs. Prime.
Okay.
That's what So that's what I do
Perfect.
with Matthew these days. I start a conversation with Matthew from calculus to Satola's room,
Yep.
physics room, and I say something that triggers a reaction out of Mr. Satola. That's what I
I
do.
like how you plan it out. My
I do.
my experience with this has been totally different. All right, so for people who are listening, which is probably no one, but I'm gonna explain it anyways. So basically, at our school, there's a 4-day rotation, and middle schoolers are in our building because the elementary school is using the middle school building to have all the elementary kids in while maintaining social distancing and like classroom limits. So there's a 4-day schedule. Day 1 and 2 are middle schoolers, and then day 3 and 4 are high schoolers. And on day 3 and 4, they split up the high school. So, like, let's say half of the school will go in on day 3, and then the other half on day 4. The 3 days that you're not going in person, you do learning online, which is pretty self-explanatory. But basically, Matthew and Michael here, along with like
Yep.
the other half, no, the other 90% of my grade, are in on
Day
day
3.
3. Yes. And I, before I was full remote, because that's an option, uh, I was day 4. And it was not as fun as you described. This is how it was, okay? Uh, I would go in, it would be jazz band or gym. So I would go into jazz band, let's say, and I would sit there. All right, I would sit at the piano and wait for death. And then after jazz band was over, because obviously, you can't really have an ensemble with only half the people there. So we basically had one. No, we had both piano players. We
Yeah.
had
That was
5 trumpets, a saxophone, and half a trombone because Connor Hill would only show up half the time. But that's
what
okay.
about
Yep.
yeah, and like on the other day we would have like all the saxophones and like one set trombone and the both drummers, and that's it.
Nice. Well, this is perfect. But yeah, that's stupid. And then next, I would go to anatomy, where I would sit down and once again pray for death. We would literally, it's basically AP Bio Light, which I've said multiple times. You go in, you sit down, you do notes, you do a worksheet or something, and then you leave.
Wait, what class is that?
Yeah, anatomy and physiology.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I didn't take that.
And then after that, I would go to Satola, who is our participation in government slash physics slash economics teacher. And I would go into the room, sit down, and then there would be only 2 other people in the class with me, Carolyn and Haley, and Satola. So 3, I guess. And we would just sit there and do current events. And boy, let me tell you, what a fun experience that was. Like, these are always how the articles would go. I would pick something about politics, saying like something about COVID-19 or something. Carolyn would pick something about uh I don't know. Normally they were also related to politics, but like less angry than mine. And then Haley would pick like the a really odd article. Like one time she picked one about like, well, it wasn't odd, but it was like there was one about this woman who had a yard sign that said Trump on it, but she like put razor blades all around it, and then some guy tried to rip it out of her lawn and then cut off like all his fingers.
Oh my god.
So that's an article that she wrote about. So then we would just quote talk about politics for about an hour, half an hour until the class ended. And then after
Mm-hmm.
that, I would go to English with the same 2 people. Yep, the same 2 people, Haley and Carolyn. And then I would sit there and try to do my work, wishing for death once again,
Oh my.
while Haley, Carolyn, and Mrs. Fada would have conversations about something. You know how they are, because they had creative writing last year, so they're like
Uh,
well
Yeah.
uh,
acquainted.
Jeffrey, this is very bipartisan, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, I'm a unbiased figure,
Yeah.
obviously. And then after
Obvious.
that, I would go to band, and then me and Connor would make faces at each other the entire time because it was pointless. Because
Yeah, because you only have to
yeah, it
ensemble
sounded
again
bad
there.
pretty much. And then after that, we would go to French, and once again, I would wish I was dead. And then after that, we would go to calculus, and then that was the only act. That's pretty much the only interesting class ever, is calculus, because we that's the only class we actually do active stuff in. And then after that, you go to physics, and then wish for death, as Satola tries to teach you how, I don't know, angular momentum is preserved when you throw cannonball at Connor Hill's head. And then I would go home and wish for death once again. So my day was really depressing. The only two people who I know on day 4 were my sister and Connor Hill.
And Haley and Carolyn.
Yes, but I don't talk to them very often. And yep. So my
Alright.
school day is depressing. But
I mean,
now
I
all
pretty
I
much have
do.
the same
How
same
about we
schedule as you, except
topic,
for
Jeffrey? Let's do one more question off of your.
yeah, and then we'll move on to a different topic.
All right,
Yeah.
hold on. Okay, Matthew. No, that
What?
does not count. All right, you have even if you don't like them, you have all these people who I'm about to list who you can talk to. You have Michael
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm just saying
and
like
Sage
teacher
Matt-
wise.
and Russell
Wait, Matt, what are you
and
talking
Kelly
about?
sometimes.
Did there's no one on our day?
What?
What?
Did Matthew just criticize the people in day 3?
No.
Oh.
What?
Do you understand how depressing my day
No.
is compared to yours? Holy
Oh,
cow.
shut up, Jeffrey. You just make it depressing.
Okay, Michael, here's the equivalent. You are on a day by yourself with
Don't.
Angelo Fata and
Oh,
Rob
come on.
Kacharski.
Okay. I'm actually very old family friends with Angelo Fata, and I am also, I don't mind Rob Kacharski. I don't know him very well, but, I'm always up for meeting new people. See, look at me, an optimist, and look at you, a pessimist. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I say
I
we
think
move
you
on.
change your freaking mindset very quickly upon. Ay. No, okay, but here's the other
No.
thing. Now, imagine that. But now you see that on the other day that you're not in, on day 4, it's me and everyone else in our grade. And you're
well, you know
stuck
what?
there.
You ignored my messages, so I don't know if I'd really want to be on the same day as you. Also,
Oh
have
my
you opened
word.
my present that I gave you?
Yeah, I did. Why?
You opened it and you didn't even thank me.
I haven't
You know
opened it.
that was
I
$20.
looked at the box and I was like, poggers.
I don't even know if you wanted it, but it was $20,
I
and it was
have 2 Funko Pops right now. One is of The Mandalorian that I got about a year ago when the show premiered, and the other one is of Vault
That
Boy.
was a year ago. Oh my.
Indeed. Yep, I
Sorry,
bought
I'm
that
just
on the student council field trip, which we're not allowed to have because of
Oh yeah,
COVID.
I got that with you, I think. Jeffrey, when did you open this? Because
Today.
okay. And
Thank
today
you,
okay.
Michael.
that's
Okay then.
if you I thought you collected them and whatever.
I do, but
You have okay.
JFK, you know.
I got JFK. I was gonna get Jackie Kennedy too, but I didn't want to spend the
I
money.
thought you were trying to insinuate something like this means you'll get shot in the head sometime very
Nope, I
soon.
meant
No.
to ask if it was a I thought you might enjoy it,
Oh, of
but I guess
course.
not. You didn't even have the courtesy to thank me.
Oh, okay. Fine. Thank
Okay.
you, Michael.
There you go.
Thank you, Michael.
Everyone's happy.
Oh,
That-
thank you for your thank you, Jeffrey. Okay, do one more question off of that website.
Okay. All right. Next. We're not asking that. Next.
Okay.
Number 5. What qualities are you looking for in a spouse?
Uh,
All right,
can we
Michael.
skip?
You've been first every time. Go.
I go first. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, really? Here's
Why
my
would you want
take
to
on.
skip, Matthew? Huh? Huh?
Okay.
Are you
Matthew,
Well,
planning to be
this
celibate?
isn't like a therapy session.
Matthew, think
Okay.
of your.
Okay.
Well, I talk. Okay.
Okay.
Listen. At the
All right.
moment, I am not worried about such matters of domestic
He's
household.
above it.
Right now, I'm at the. You know what? Later, fine, whatever. But right now,
Whatever.
I'm definitely very career driven at the moment, and that does not mean I'm a bad person. That just means my values are not that at the moment. They will be maybe in 10 years, but not now.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I've never had much of an interest in pursuing a relationship in high school, and yeah, I've never made it really a priority or really thought much about it. So that's me.
All right. What about you, Matthew?
I'm gonna have to agree with Michael here. I'm not that I'm dodging the question, but
Uh-huh.
No,
Sounds a
you're
bit like
I'm
you're
dodging.
not.
dodging the question.
I
I'm
know
not dodging the question.
Okay,
that's
fine.
not true.
Fine,
You
fine,
know,
fine.
but like I just haven't, done much about that. I'm kind of focused academically about succeeding and, musically. I haven't really thought or done much about that, you know?
I guess what
Sure.
I'd be looking for in someone though would be someone who respects I can respect
Yeah.
their career and they can respect mine and we can kind of understand busy because I'd like to be a busy adult, but not like too busy. Like we
You
was
know,
really
and I'm like, I would want to look for someone that I could like just blindly trust,
Wait a
you know?
minute.
Okay, like, you know,
All right.
you
I
know,
would basically, I don't know. This is gonna sound awful, but it would have to be someone who I consider intelligent, you know, who doesn't
well,
blindly agree with me.
that's not
They have to be like intellectually challenging to me, not like constantly arguing with me, like this Michael guy over here. But
like an
I'd
old married couple, like that type of arguing, you mean?
but
shut your
like they don't
don't
just blindly accept what I say for a fact.
Well, that's not what I meant by like what I said earlier.
Yes, I know. I'm just saying, and also, you know, they, I, it,
Like you
this
can't,
probably isn't
yeah.
representative of the human population or just the United States population on large, but pretty much for me, a factor of whether or not they're intelligent is whether or not they do well in school. Because I don't know if you've seen some of the people who don't do well in school in Kanjo, but yep.
yeah, well see Jeffrey, I don't know. Here's my take on academics. I want to be smart. I am in all of the classes you are in terms of challenging. I just don't do quite as well in them. And you know what?
That's fine. You're challenging yourself by
That's fine,
pushing yourself in those classes.
but I have absolutely no interest in doing any of that. Literally, my whole goal, no matter what I do, is in the entertainment industry. Like I don't know. I can't do anything other than in the my brain doesn't work any other way than in trying to entertain people. And you see it in school. Everything I say is always for a laughing reaction. So I
Interesting.
literally that's all. I don't know. It's a weird complex I have, but I always want that sort of like center of attention type thing, but not in a narcissistic way, you know? Like not I'm not a hubristic person, I would say. I'm the most humble person in this school, and I'm definitely more humble than both of you. You know, and I
Yep,
think that
there
makes
Oh,
it is.
a
perfect,
person.
There it is. Yep,
perfect. All right, well, let's take a detour off the questions real quick, and let's go into
detour
career. All right.
career.
So
Okay,
this kind of leads off of it, but let's talk about our career goals. What do we each
career
want to do?
goals.
Starting
Okay,
with Mr.
yep,
Barlow here.
Barlow.
All right. So I just said I want to work in the entertainment industry. Preferably, I would. Okay. I always feel so uncomfortable saying this because I feel like people think I'm out of my mind. But
You're out of your
literally,
mind.
I would like to be
You
a.
didn't even say anything.
I would like to be a I'd either like to be a big recording artist or a songwriter who makes big songs. And you know what? I definitely think I have the ability. I think it's just a lot of luck. And yeah, and I'm moving to Nashville and I'm gonna try really hard and I will not come back until I have succeeded my goal. And I don't care if I have to live off the government and in my car. I I
Okay.
make it. So,
Okay,
Ay,
so I'm very determined on doing this.
fair
So
enough. Do you think? All right. So you're saying that it's mostly luck, or at least you have
I'm saying
to dedicate at least some part of it to luck, right?
yes, because I don't know. This is confidence. This is not, narcissism. I'm going to give myself credit and I can say that I write a catchy hook and I my lyrics can be generically good and I think I can definitely write a pop song and that's really all I want to do is write popular music. So, yeah.
All right.
mm,
Fair enough.
fair
What
enough.
about you,
Yep.
Matthew?
So obviously, as you may or may not know, I'm going for music performance education, and I'm hoping to both teach music in some capacity, either public or private, and play in some major orchestra or ensemble. You know, because music,
That's right.
you know,
All
you
right.
know, yeah,
All right.
you know, like
Uh,
obviously if you're gonna teach, like, you might as well play. I mean, Like, there's
Yep.
no middle ground there.
Like Mr. Field before
Yeah,
quarantine happened, he was part of that or I don't remember what he said, but I remember that he said that he at least engaged twice with a like jazz group kind of that operated out of Montgomery County.
yeah. And chalk dust torture. That's
Oh
another
yes, I
music
forgot about
outlet.
chalk dust torture. If you don't know chalk dust torture, they're our in-school band.
Yep,
Pretty epic,
with teachers and
consisting
one
of
one
our
student
yep, our band director on the guitar, our shop class teacher on the
on the
drums,
yep
our history teacher on vocals, and who else?
the bass whoever's the bass player in the band.
All right, and they get a student bass player. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, well,
Yeah,
for me, all right, well, basically, the only reason that I've had computer science in my mind is because I decided that I wanted to be a software engineer about like 10 years ago, and that's what I've stuck with. But doing coding by myself, or like I pretty much taught myself JavaScript and some other languages, and it seemed fun while you were doing it, but I probably couldn't do it for my entire life. So yeah, I'll probably not end up doing that. But as of right now, I'm going to hopefully be studying computer science in some capacity.
How about you just go into the military, become a big general guy, and then run for president? There.
there you
Well,
go.
people don't like to elect career soldiers, which is you know,
Oh,
Because
wait, well, explain Eisenhower.
that doesn't count.
okay,
Everyone loved him.
yeah, he's the war hero.
Everyone loved Dwight Eisenhower. All right. He especially after everyone hated Harry Truman, but that's okay. Pretty much
Uh,
Yeah.
what?
yes. I feel like this topic is dragging on a little now.
Absolutely
Oh,
not.
what are we looking at?
But basically, hold on. So Eric Elliott, yeah. All right, you
Yep,
two, you know him, you know him.
yep,
Smart
You do.
boy, smart lad.
yeah,
Basically, someone like him could do anything, right? Like anything you want, pretty
yeah.
much.
I guess theoretically, yeah,
Yes, and pretty much so could we, right? We could pretty
yeah.
much like
I
go
guess
into any field
theoretically,
we
yeah,
wanted and be at least competent in that field.
yeah.
That's pretty
I
much
would
what
say
I'm
so.
going off of.
Okay.
Poggin. All right, epic. Next.
I think we should switch topics before this drags on
Yes,
for too
indeed.
long.
All right,
All
number
right.
6 on the list. Let's say we get to
No,
number
I
10 and
meant
then we
like
finish it. Yeah, yeah, come on. Okay.
the episode,
No. Yes, the episode.
but Michael kind of wanted that out of his topic.
All right, fine.
I
Michael.
had a topic, and you're just gonna skip
All right,
over for like
Michael,
10
what is your topic?
row. Okay, well, I've been reading some articles on the interweb,
Of
and
course.
I've seen a couple of like essay type things, and
I'm not writing an
I'm
essay for this
gonna,
podcast.
no, I never asked you to. I don't want you to write an essay, you dweeb. Anyway, so um, I want your thoughts on this. Is the image of Santa Claus harmful? Given that it's Christmas time. Okay, so basically what I've seen so far is that the thing that Santa Claus brings presents to good people and cold to bad people is harmful to children's mental capacity and state when they're children. I don't know.
Why?
So hold on. And second,
All right.
Santa Santa enslaves elves and is a symbol of slavery post Confederacy. What are your
Oh
thoughts
my
on that?
lord. All right, well, first
Oh boy.
off, the thing that Santa rewards good children and does not, I
Yeah,
would say
it's
that
apparently damaging to children. Is that
why? It's positive reinforcement. If you do
Yeah,
something good, you
it's
get
not
something
negative.
good.
I know, and that's the I don't know. I don't understand the logic behind that because it's not going to work when you're an adult. And
Yeah,
is
what do you
Realistic.
mean?
Well,
Yes, it
no,
does.
it's
Hold
supposed
on.
to. Okay, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, well, that whole concept is supposed to like reinforce good behavior. Because I last time I checked, I don't think anybody has ever gotten coal, ever. because it's
Yeah, well, not in
Eh,
this century, but
oh, okay, yes, but like it's supposed to be positive reinforcement. So like when on Christmas Day they wake up and they're like, "Oh, I got presents and I didn't get coal. I must have been good." You know, I must have
okay.
acted. You
Yes,
know,
yes. It's like it gives them motivation to act good. You know,
yes, and
why do you
I
think
don't.
that's harmful?
The argument is that children fearing getting coal is harmful to them.
That's the
Now,
worst thing I've ever heard.
here's my take, and this is a real thing. I saw an article on, was it the Huffington
Oh,
Post, that
come
kind
on! You're using this as your reputable source, the
of,
Huffington Post.
it's just arguments, and I saw on I saw a bunch of other like articles on it when I searched it, and literally it's like a topic people want to talk
You
about
could
now. It's
tell they
canceled.
were all left-wing sites because of
But
the second point.
here's the thing though. I why I don't understand why it would be harmful to children, because here's the thing. You have these children are going to grow up, right? And I'm not saying that Santa teaches lessons. I don't know. I mean, maybe he does. I don't think Santa really taught me right from wrong. But here's the thing. Like, it's the same thing when you're an adult. It's like knowing that if I kill someone is going to send me to prison is harmful to my mental health. Like, really?
no,
I
that's
I don't under it's the same thing. I don't understand the argument behind it.
Yep, it should instill in you basically. Not only is it good for, well, I'm not gonna say good. I'm just gonna say that it's neutral. It's neither harmful nor explicitly good, but
No,
it's not
it is
bad
it
for
is.
the child. All right, to say that like, okay, wow, if you act good this year, maybe Santa will get you a little something for Christmas. Well, what do you think, little Johnny? Huh? You want a present for Christmas? Well, don't cut all your sister's hair off and set it on fire, okay? That's like a good thing, because it gives them motivation. A, you don't have to deal with your screaming children running around the house because they're acting good for Santa. And
yep,
B, all right, you get to somewhat instill good beliefs in them that if they do good things, that they'll receive good things back.
yeah,
Yes, and that's not damaging. Now, what might be damaging, maybe you could make an argument for. I remember in elementary school, it was recess, and apparently we were acting bad,
Oh my
and Mrs.
word.
Jones, lunch aide, called Santa, quote unquote, in front of everyone, and told him to bring us all coal, and everyone started crying. Now, that might be,
that's a little much.
but
That's like an extreme.
of right from wrong, good equals good consequences, bad equals bad consequences. That should just be what it is. I don't know why there's even an argument behind it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like that just sort of common sense if you think about it. Like,
But I don't know. People all of a sudden feel sympathy for people who intentionally do wrongdoing and feel no remorse. Like I don't under this just seems to be a common theme with people nowadays. I don't get it.
Well,
Like we're all trying to cut people slack who don't deserve slack. It doesn't make sense.
yep.
mm,
There's obviously like a lot of stuff leading to this. But people, I don't know. There's always like a gray scale with everything. It's not just black and white. Like, oh, yes.
No.
Oh, this man had a family. Oh no. But he
Hmm.
also blew up a hospital. So, really,
Yeah.
really what's the trade-off here? But
Hmm.
yeah, pretty much we should be teaching people that bad things lead to consequences, not like bad things lead to a slap on the wrist. Like
Hmm.
the prison
Yeah.
system in the United States, obviously. All right, like not to get too deep here, but it's obviously the goal is rehabilitation, not punishment. But I feel like the system we have now is not really geared towards that goal. But on the other hand, prisons in like Scandinavian countries, like if you have you guys ever seen those pictures of like Swedish prisons and they look like hotel
not
rooms?
Yes, I have seen those. That's ridiculous.
I don't know if I don't know. Well,
Well, here's the thing. If I do something later in life, say I do something wrong, and I really do something wrong and I really mess up and I'm sent to jail, I don't deserve to stay in a hotel room.
well, it's
I
odd
don't.
though. Like, so
well,
the
yeah,
the crime rate in those countries is like much lower than ours, right? But
yeah,
their
Yeah.
prisons are also much nicer than ours. So you would think that by having a prison that's so nice, it would be like, oh, there's no reason to not commit a crime because I could just pretty much go to a really nice place and live my life there for a few years. But their crime rate is much lower than ours. So what do you think is the
Oh,
reason behind that?
the reason behind that is because they're small, intimate countries, and the thing is that when you have a small, intimate country, you're going. The United States definitely leads the world in terms. Maybe I mean the United Kingdom has, and Canada probably too have big opportunities, but like the United States is famous for you come here and everyone has equal opportunity. Well, people have equal opportunity in those European countries too, but you don't really get the same amount of you can't reach the same amount of success in those countries as you can in a country like America. So, but I think America's problem is while while opportunity is pushed upon the residents of those Scandinavian countries, in the United States there are a lot of people who are untouched by they live in a community and they never are exposed to anything else. And I think that's the problem is when you're in this type of community that you don't have any opportunity and you see people around you making bad decisions, that's what you're going to go ahead and do, and they're ignored by officials and agencies. So I think that's the problem behind crime in the United States is that
Just like
values aren't pushed on people because of stupid things like this argument about Santa. Like, oh, it doesn't matter, you can be bad.
Just a slap on the wrist. Yep. Perfect.
So yeah,
yeah.
that's why I think. But no,
How we
so
looking on time?
We're at the 46-minute mark.
I think we should.
yeah,
I
we can
think that was a nice little bow segue
Hold on, we
on
didn't even get to section 2 of the
no
thing.
section
section
two.
two.
What
We touched upon section A.
section
Yeah,
A? Okay.
There were 2 sections.
yeah, and then Santa represents like slavery.
Okay, well,
I saw
first
you
off,
with it.
Oh, that second part. Oh yeah.
part 1 of answering number 2. So 2.1. Uh First off, I don't think that any child who hears about Santa is going to be like, that sounds like slavery to me here in the United States. We don't have slavery anymore.
Yeah, Michael. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you said that, that's the first time I ever thought of that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know where people come up with these
Yes.
ideas.
And 2.2, you can tell that all of these opinions came from left wing sources because only they would try to make mountains out of molehills.
I just hate how people try to. And here's the thing: there are plenty of things ingrained in. I mean, that were ingrained in American culture that probably were not appropriate. But I feel like now we are taking factors of American and Western, of essentially culture that have always been good, always been uncontroversial, and we're dragging them into this mix,
Yep.
right?
Nothing
So
can
like
ever be
nothing
good.
can be good. Why can't we have anything good anymore? I don't get
There
it.
always
Like
has to be conflict at some
there
point.
does. Like here's the thing, Baby It's Cold Outside. Is that song maybe a little date rapey? Okay, sure. Has that song been around for 100 years? That song has been around for 100 years.
It's supposed
Okay.
to be about like a
It's
nice
it's
evening
just a
with
fun just a
yeah.
fun why is
Okay,
that
but here's the
controversial?
thing, okay, about that song. You can't like take something, right, that is considered you can't take something that's old and I guess
And compare it
considered
to today's
antiquated. Yeah,
standards.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like
You can't. I mean, the song by John Lennon, "War Is Over." There's a line that says, "So this is Christmas for black and for white, for yellow and red ones." Right? I mean, times have only like those terms nowadays are seen as racial slurs, but I don't
Back
know.
then, they were kind of just normally used.
Yeah, and they weren't even
back
yeah.
then isn't
So
even that long ago. That song's how
no,
old now? 40 years? 50?
I don't know. I think it might have been 60s or 70s, maybe. I don't know.
All right.
Maybe 80s. But yes, no, I don't like how we take like okay, we used to cancel things that were bad and now we're just canceling everything. Like I don't get it. I don't
Wow. It's like that thing, you know, humans have this innate need to overcome, right? So like back when humans before the agricultural revolution when we were nomadic and foragers and gatherers mainly, you know, the average human would be like, "Oh yes, I did not starve to death today. Epic."
Good
But
for me.
now there's no conflict, all right? Now the average human wakes up, all right, goes to their job, their 9 to 5, and then comes home and then just lives their boring mundane life out like that, right? So, they need to overcome something. So what do? they get a freaking opinionist title at the Huffington Post and then write a story about how
Come
Santa's
on.
racist.
Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Argument is that Santa is classist and gives more to rich people. Now, that might
That
be true to an extent, but I don't know.
But
I
in what
didn't
it's
sense? What is he
definitely.
classist?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I didn't grow up rich at all. I mean, when I was little, I was definitely probably lower middle class, and I am by no means scarred by receiving smaller gifts than my friends. I don't, you
yeah,
know,
like it's
happy. It was magical to like walk downstairs and see anything, you know? I don't know.
yeah.
It's
I
just
don't know.
that
It's like that's extreme. That's extreme of the extreme. Like
Mm.
this leads to like the same thing, you know. Like most people just take their lives for granted, especially in this
They do.
country. You don't know
And
like how good you have it until you realize that like there's actually people in the
yeah.
world who don't have running water in their house, who don't have electricity, who literally have to like still use outhouses in the 21st century.
And the United States has an excellent welfare system. It really does. So, I mean, there's people, there's whenever in this country, there's opportunity to succeed. And if even if you know, take a fall, the government's always there to catch you. And that's not the case in most countries, really, right? So, I don't know. I mean, it's sad when I see people, you know, try to create conflict out of nothing.
Yeah.
Really.
Obviously, there's not going to be like a solution for that's a catch all for everyone because when obviously it's like the same. If benefits increase for people who are underprivileged, then the people who pay more taxes will complain, obviously, because they don't reap the benefits because they're better off. But the same thing for the other way. If the benefits decrease, the people who are better off are happier because they don't have to pay for someone else's stuff. But people who are worse off are unhappy because they get less stuff. It's this balancing act that's always like impossible to hit the happy medium.
Hmm. Well, yeah, but that was the argument. I was just wondering if like if the way I saw this was controversial or not. If like really we should be
um no, that's
Santa Claus.
totally extreme.
Or...
I think
That
I
that's whole okay. I mean, the only real thing is the thing that we did in English last year about whether or not parents lying to children about Santa Claus being real is morally correct. You remember that?
I
yeah.
I
yeah
think that could be the only controversial thing about it is like teaching children that lying
I
could be good.
even that's not controversial. That's called I don't know. I
That
literally
that's like the least what's the word I'm looking for? Least like negatively impacting lie. I think
Yeah.
it's
anybody could.
there's I was never, you know, they never broke the news to me, you know. It's called, and I think that makes it more simple even as you grow up too, because you don't ever have to. It's called, you know, you don't. I don't know. It's like that's not a detrimental thing, really.
No.
It's
And
uh,
people who say that it is a detrimental thing, I can think of so many more things that parents can lie to children about that can be justified. Like, what if your 2 year old comes up to you and asks you, like, where babies come from? You're not obviously going to say, okay, Susan, well, when a man loves women very much, and then go into the
No.
actual biological explanation. You're just going to say something stupid or whatever will
Like
get
that's
them.
where the but the pelican no, that's pelican.
The stork drops off
Yeah, the
children
stork.
at the
There
door,
it is.
and then new parents go out and pick them up and
well,
raise
my
them.
parents just explained that it just happens after you get married.
When you
Yeah,
get
like
married, when you put on the wedding bands, they fuse, all right, like electricity starts flying out of them, and then out of the middle of the line between them forms a child.
there you go.
There you go. No, but yeah, I thought that was a little ridiculous that we were gonna go there with the like the Santa thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Okay.
unless someone has another topic, I am.
I do not.
I do
I
not.
think I think that's a nice little bow on this hour episode.
That's right.
I do too. And I think next week I will bring a quiz we can take together or something fun.
Like what?
Okay.
Like a pop quiz?
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. Not like a right wrong, but like something that reveals something about us. You know, those type of quizzes. So maybe I'll do one
Oy
of those.
vey. I
Maybe.
feel like
We'll
that's
see.
just the same as the
Well,
things that
next
I
week it's
found.
Christmas. We might take that off. I mean, I probably
We can do it sometime over break or something.
yeah, over break.
This is
Later,
low, except for when Jeffrey ignores me all the time.
Okay,
That's
well,
fine.
I
Okay.
will be on my laptop during break, so that may or
Okay.
may not be good. I will be using a different microphone, which may or
That's
may not be
right.
better.
Well, we'll see. It's fine. I think
I
we
don't
should wrap it up here. We're gonna do the bye thing
All right,
again.
amazing.
Or
All right.
know. All right,
no?
What,
I'm going
Michael?
to do the outro.
What?
I want to do the outro.
Okay,
Okay, we'll do
fine.
the outro then.
This was the Fun Podcast. Thank you for listening and come back.
Thank you. All right, now bye on 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
Bye. Michael, I don't hear you. Bye.
Bye.
You're the worst.